The world loses a cinematic legend. The 2025 Oscars are on the horizon, and Tyler skips class.
Oops, wrong one.
Oh, it's time for class.
Class is in session!
Roll call! Bueller?
I'm gonna be late for class.
Bueller?
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
Late for shows.
You are mine now. You belong to me.
Did you study for the test?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kimblett to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Hello, classmates, and welcome to another episode of Middle Class Film Class Gab and Chatter Edition. I'm your host for today, Joseph.
I'm Peter.
And no Tyler
Just Rizzler.
today. Yeah, just the Rizzler.
Sticking out your yacht for the Rizzler.
The Rizzler has joined us once again.
Yeah.
Always glad to see that little chubby face.
I saw him the Rizzler photoshopped into a picture of the Sopranos family.
Oh, yeah.
It was like Tony Soprano and his wife and his daughter, and then they put the kid in instead.
Oh.
His son. And I'm like, he looks right at home.
Yeah, he just looks like, he's just part of the family.
Yeah. What's up, buddy?
Good. I'm good. What's up with you?
Chilling?
Rizzler?
Oscar. Yeah, just Oscar weekend.
Yeah, on the eve of the Oscar night, which is Sunday, as we're recording this on the 1st of March. Happy March, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Happy March.
Yeah, February, shortest month. It's already over. I don't know if you get... I feel like rent should be adjusted for the month of February since I'm paying less for less days.
Do you pay more in January and December too, though?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, they should go by days, right?
Yeah.
But it's a set flat rate.
Yeah.
I don't know if that'd be
Just
better
think
or
about
worse.
on leap year, you get an extra day for free. What do you do with your free day on leap year?
Every 4 years, the one free day.
Yeah.
The day that I forget is happening.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Leap day.
I don't even think about it
I
until the day of.
I celebrate Shane's birthday.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wait,
but-
what?
Shane's born on the 29th of February.
He's a leap year baby?
He's a leap year baby. Yeah.
So what, he's like 6 years old or something?
He's
Technically?
something like that. No, he's a 8, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Can you imagine
That'd be fun.
a season
I think.
on your birthday on your license? It says February 29th.
Well, in the current climate of our people's passports changing their genders and stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if they go for leap year babies next. It's like,
Leap year babies.
you're not old enough to drink. You're only 8 years old, even though you're born in 92.
That's pretty funny.
But here we are again today. Welcome everyone on YouTube. We got an active chat. We got Dallas, got Bruce,
Hey.
got Dan,
What's up, guys?
got this guy named Pete also in the
Oh,
chat.
yeah. Producer Pete.
Uh,
Producer Justice has abandoned us.
Yeah.
Like God has abandoned this country.
everyone on YouTube, and of course everyone in audio only podcast land.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening still.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Or I should say, welcome back.
Yes. We've got a kind of a different type of show for you today. We would, with sort of a last minute, Tyler, the mayor called him or something, so that's why he couldn't make it.
Yeah, it was. He really is the Sacramento Batman.
Yeah, but he goes out in the day instead.
He's the Daywalker Batman. He's the Sacramento Blade. Ooh, Sacramento Blade.
The day man.
He does have the N-word pass.
Oh,
He can say it.
yeah, he's in South Sac right now.
He says his coworker gave him the pass.
Do
Do we have that drop?
Is there a drop for that?
They keep calling me the N-word.
Oh yeah. So it's just us two, and we're a little. I don't know if we've revealed this that like we are on the cusp of our 500th episode.
Yeah, we talked about it briefly. This week was going to be $4.99 and $500.
Yeah, Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 was going to be the 500th upload or
500th upload.
500th milestone.
The way it works is when I'm uploading to our hosting website is on Buzzsprout, and when you upload it, you have seasons and then you have episode numbers. And we're technically on season 3 because there's been 3 iterations of the format of the show.
Oh yeah,
we had our beginning where we didn't know what the fuck we were doing at all. We literally just like, anybody want to talk about something? I don't know. What do you want to do? Like we didn't have any show prep or anything before.
It was the Wild West.
First like
back then,
20 episodes was kind of hard to listen to.
just a little bit.
And then Then we had an actual format, was Gab and Chatter, and then the movie Streaming Picks.
Yeah.
And then we split it up into 2 episodes a week because we just couldn't shut the fuck up. We couldn't keep it under.
Yeah.
We couldn't put it all in an hour, basically.
Yeah, and then that's when
And we didn't want to do a 2.5 to 3 hour single episode upload. So we did 2 hour to hour and a half episode uploads.
Yeah, so it's been a mixture of combination episodes in the beginning, and then we separated them.
And then we had field trip episode. I haven't done a field trip in a while. It
No.
really put a damper on the field trip when we realized that Tyler is incapable of watching movies in a theater with any amount of decorum.
And then when he did go see a movie, you never talk about it.
Yeah, he watched movies by himself, which, I mean, that's what he's relegated to at that point.
We would talk about whatever movie that just came out a few months ago or something. He'd be like, oh yeah, I watched that.
Yeah.
And you didn't think to mention it on a
the
movie podcast?
Well, he'll talk about that on his NPR show, on his KDVS show.
On his
When he becomes
solo Tyler local college radio station show.
Yeah, it's not going to be Tyler and Company. It's going to be me, myself, and Tyler, which we actually have a segment for that.
Yeah.
But I'll donate the name of the
So we're not doing a movie review
this week.
So we're just going to do a Gab and Chatter so we can save our next Gab and Chatter episode will be the 500th episode, and
Correct.
we can actually do something for it.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll write out to the classmates and ask them to give us some feedback, or
someone come up with a best of.
no, I mean, it would be nice just to see, the people who we know are listened from the beginning, or new listeners that had kind of downloaded.
Yeah.
What was the listener from last week who came at the very end of the chat?
I was just thinking about that
It
because
was Mr. Plow something.
Mr. Plowdan.
I think it was Mr. Plowdan or Mr. Plow something.
And yeah, he messaged us saying that he just went in chronological order of every single episode to catch up before he started watching it live.
Yeah, he
I
didn't
think.
want to watch the YouTube live until he caught up with
Yeah.
with the lore.
Yeah, which was like, that's a lot of content.
Yeah, it's cool. I really appreciate it. That's really fun.
Yeah.
But it would be cool. Maybe some people could just send a message in and say, I'll reach out and say, you want to write a blurb for the show or send in a voice memo or something like that. That'd be cool.
You don't got to take a lot of balls or anything.
But also, I'm very glad that number 500 is not going to be Paul Blart 2, because holy shit.
Yeah.
That was a punishment.
I was going to make an apology.
Yeah, you have a week to write your apology too.
But yeah. Or send to us what you've hated.
Yeah.
Everything about the show.
Yeah, we want that too.
Just the one thing that's like, God, hey, I wish they didn't do that.
Yeah. Most of the negative feedback we get is be nicer to Tyler.
Oh yeah.
And I have to say, I want to be nicer to Tyler. It's really hard sometimes because you guys see just the tip of the spear, just the surface of
the iceberg.
And Tyler's like our brother. Like the three of us, we're around each other so often. We've been friends for many years, and I know Tyler can do better. I see the glimmer of hope, and we just want the best for you guys, for the listeners, but also for himself, and sometimes tough love is the only way that I can show it to him. So
yeah, we all make out off air.
yeah, that's true. Back to back.
Exactly.
If old people, listeners who know, that's how we used to record the show before the cameras were on.
Yeah. So we build up the animosity and we let all the steam out when the cameras are off.
That's right. So Tyler and Joseph are two of my best friends. So, we're, if you're not busting the balls of the people that you love, then you're not living.
Do you really love them?
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't say it if I didn't care about you. I want better for my boy. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. But
but,
anyways, real feedback. Let's get some real feedback. What segments do you like? What do you not like? What do you want to see more of? What you don't like?
What do you think of this upcoming format change?
Yeah, are you happy about it? Are you scared about it? That sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I myself am curious on how it's going to go.
It's the great experiment. I figure that's something in history, but I don't know if that's a good thing. Maybe I shouldn't say it's the great experiment.
Yeah, the final solution. People might take it seriously.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what we're doing today, and so let's get into it.
Find some character in you, lad. Now's the time for Gab and Chatter.
Gab and Chatter movie news, movie-related things that we're going to talk about. And I switched just to the two of us.
That's fine. We get the Rizzler off the screen.
We'll just leave that.
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll
I'm
just
okay
leave
with
that up.
I'm okay with that.
A little bit of back and forth dialogue. Pete, what do you have?
A couple things. Number one, there was 2 deaths in Hollywood this week.
Oh, To a great start.
I know. So Michelle Trachtenberg is the first one. The news kind of dropped that she had died at a very young age. She was from, I know her from Eurotrip. That was like the big thing, but also she was on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where a lot of people basically knew her from. And she was 39, I believe, when she passed. And I don't know if there's an actual. It says it's a tragic death. Now I don't think that there's been anything. It says here that she may have had a rejected liver transplant.
Yeah.
So I don't know again how much this is corroborated. So this is all alleged. This is from the New York Post. When you're talking about details of someone's life and death, things get really muddied because we don't know these people. The people writing these articles don't know these people. It's like a game of telephone. Mm-hmm. But what we do know is that she was 39 years old. She was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She was in Harriet the Spy. She was in Eurotrip. What did you know her from?
I didn't know her name, but I know her from Eurotrip.
Eurotrip?
Yeah.
I didn't know her name?
Because I didn't watch Buffy and I didn't watch the other one that you mentioned.
Harriet the Spy.
Yeah.
And with Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah, no.
The Ice Princess. She was like a dice dancer.
No.
So that was pretty tragic. Anybody that dies young at a young age, it's sad. But foreshadowing that or overshadowing that maybe.
The day after or the 2 days after?
It was a day or two. Gene Hackman passed away.
Not just Gene Hackman.
Yeah, it was Gene Hackman and his wife and his dog. All three died in a very mysterious way. And on top of it being mysterious, it's like in Birdman or the Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance or something like that. Mm-hmm. In that movie, he's Michael Keaton's character is lamenting the fact that he's going to die on a plane and George Clooney's going to be on it. And the headline is George Clooney and 20 others die.
Right.
And he says, did you know that Farrah Fawcett died the same day that Michael Jackson died? And no one talked about Farrah Fawcett because Michael Jackson died. The king of pop died.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a moment right here because Gene Hackman is like one of the highest regarded actors, formerly living actors of our day. And he's got 100% certified banger catalog. Never phoned it in, always gave a great performance, always was memorable. And like I only knew him from like his middle age on. Like I never saw him as a young man.
Yeah.
I went back and watched some older movies when he was young and he was great back then too. But he's like the headline and he died at the age of 95.
The ripe age of 95.
Yeah. So it's not like he had another 20 years under his belt or anything like that, but it was not just he passed away in his sleep and the family laments it. Mm-hmm. His wife also passed away, and it says that now they're assuming that Gene Hackman was dead for at least 9 days before his body was found.
Yeah, I read something about his pacemaker reading because he had a pacemaker. Mm-hmm. Betsy Arakawa is his wife's name, by the way.
Yeah, Betsy Arakawa.
Where's the dog's name?
Yeah, and he says, and one of their German shepherds were all found Wednesday after.
One of their German shepherds.
Yeah, apparently one of them made it out.
Suspect.
One or more. I know. We have the smoking gun.
But yeah, I read something about like his pacemaker, his last pacemaker report, or I don't know how often.
Like a reading or something like that.
Was checked, was on the 17th. And I thought that was interesting because my dad has a pacemaker and and it's checked like wirelessly, like exactly. Remotely. And I'm curious as to how often that is like analytics.
Is it like every hour, every day, or
every
whatever?
week?
Yeah, I don't know. My CPAP records my data onto like a memory card on the machine, and then you can pull it out and take it to the doctor, and they'll like be like, "Oh, this is not good. This is not good, my friend. You need to do something."
Yeah,
I haven't never done that before, but there
was like because it's a really kind of an ominous thing. Like they were all found dead. His wife was 30 years younger than him.
Yeah,
and the fact that the dog was also found dead, people were saying that it was carbon monoxide or something.
That's what I heard first.
The silent killer. Mm-hmm. Because if it wasn't carbon monoxide where they could all pass away in their sleep, a la Midsummer.
Yeah.
then you would think that something nefarious was going on.
So there's a little bit of details here that's interesting as well. Hackman was discovered near a pair of sunglasses in what police believe to be the mudroom, with officials stating that it appeared that he'd suddenly fallen. His walking cane was also found near his body, and this was this is from the New York Post reports this. His wife Arakawa's body was found decomposed, mummified, and bloated on the bathroom floor near an open prescription bottle and scattered pills. So, what?
That's very descriptive.
Yeah, they said her hands and feet were mummified.
What?
Yeah. So in my head, I'm thinking, was maybe Mr. Hackman senile at this point? He lost his mind. He had dementia, and she had killed herself, and he basically just carried on, and then was ignoring whatever had happened, and then slipped and fell, and then he passed away too because
that is so strange.
Like supposedly he was dead for 9 days before they found him. But the wife was her hands and feet were mummified.
What? So she had been dead for
have to have been quite some time.
What? How long had the dog been dead?
I don't know.
What the dog doing?
Police seized Tylenol, a thyroid medication, and DTiazem, a high blood pressure pill, along with 2 green cell phones and a 2025 planner. Okay, why'd they tell me that?
I saw a sheriff or somebody reading off what was found in the house or near the bodies or something. Apparently, Betsy hadn't called mother since October. Family housekeeper claims.
Interesting. Yeah,
Strange.
It's crazy. It's wild, and it's the other thing that's weird is that this is kind of a macabre part of being in the entertainment field or like the entertainment reporting field, because places like Variety, they came up with like the news hit, and then like 2 hours later, Variety dropped this really in-depth article about Gene Hackman, the life and death of Gene Hackman.
Oh, like they had it ready.
They had it ready to go. There were photos in every stage of his career. There was like pull quotes from different celebrities that had worked for him, and it's like someone's job. It's someone's job at Variety to change 2024 to 2025 for the year of death on all these celebrities.
Yeah, I wonder.
Clint Eastwood definitely has got one written.
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, that's a good call. Like who else is on? Ridley Scott, maybe. George Miller.
Getting up there. Yeah.
They're all like they're in the 80s and late 80s and 90s.
Because the majority of their work and influence is behind them now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of, I mean, maybe like they just have these writers, like if they don't have anything else to write about, like to keep them busy and keep them getting paid, they just like, write this article for it to be ready.
Yeah.
When it inevitably happens.
Yeah, this is busy work. It's gonna happen, and take your time.
Yeah,
we can do 10 drafts on this one. It doesn't have to be pushed out tomorrow, and then all of a sudden the news happens.
Yeah,
and the one intern that wrote it is like, my time has come. Wait, who died?
Call it being proactive.
Yeah. So anyways, it's a damn shame. People are kind of posting all over social media and film Twitter and whatnot about like their movies that they're watching of Gene Hackman's. What's your go-to Gene Hackman movie?
Royal Tenenbaums.
That's probably mine too, and that's probably mainly just because of our generation. Like French Connection, never seen it.
I've watched French Connection once.
Let's see, Unforgiven. Yeah, it was okay. Poseidon Adventure. Boo. I'm like shitting all over this guy's career. I'm sorry.
We watched that, right?
Poseidon Adventure. Yeah, that was my mom's boyfriend's pick.
Oh yeah, that's
back
right.
When anybody can give us recommendations for the wheel.
When I was younger, I did watch the old Superman movie quite a bit, like the old one.
I've never seen any of the Richard Donner Supermans or the Christopher Reeve ones.
Yeah, I used to watch the first one quite a bit. And yeah, he was the Lex Luthor, Angry Otter. For sure. I can't even. I mean,
The Replacements. He's not like a huge part in that, but I remember him from that and thinking this guy's pretty good. And then I got older and realized, okay, he's one of the greats actually.
I mean, the Gene Hackman, Hugh Jackman name confusion happened quite a bit
for you.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I never got that.
Gene Hackman, Hugh Jackman.
Interesting.
Because they both have similar. Hugh Jackman, Gene Hackman.
It makes sense. He was in a movie, David Mamet movie called Heist in 2001. I'm pretty sure I saw that one. I can't remember if that was the one, but I remember the very end of one of his movies that I saw. I can't remember the name of the movie, but
Didn't he do the Conversation?
oh yeah, you
Yeah.
know what? That's probably my go-to for him. I loved the Conversation. That was really good.
The Mexican
But no, the
enemy
ending,
of the state.
the ending of that one was they were all stealing gold, and he melted the gold down and made it into like railing on his sailboat. And he's like, "I'm out, leave me alone." And then he sailed away in his sailboat, and he's like polishing the railing, and it's all gold. And you're like, "Who made that for you? Who made the railing?
Yeah.
Do you pay him in gold? Do you say keep the leftovers? And then what do you do with it? When you need money, you just hack off a piece of the railing in your boat.
I guess
When
so.
you get to Mazatlan or whatever the hell you're going.
Yeah. Ants. Mandible.
Oh, he was Mandible and Ants.
Yeah.
Oh, now we're talking.
The Birdcage.
Crimson Tide. I haven't seen Crimson Tide. I should watch that.
Quick and the Dead. Unforgiven. The Firm.
I liked Wyatt Earp.
Herb.
Yeah. 10 herbs and spices.
Who's yours?
Who's yours?
Who's yours? Who's yours, Daddy?
Oh, you know what? Mississippi Burning, another really good one. Yeah, that was really good.
I didn't realize he was in multiple Supermans. I guess I just never watched the rest of them.
Yeah.
I think I watched the first one.
I saw an anecdote because one of the cool things about one of the silver linings about when celebrities pass away is that you hear all these interesting behind the scenes stories kind of pushed out. And him and Richard Donner were fighting on the set of Superman, and he basically said, "You got to shave the mustache." He was known for his mustache. He was like, "You already shaved the head, now you got to shave the mustache." And Richard Donner had a mustache on at the same time.
Yeah.
And he said, "I'm not shaving that fucking mustache. You can fire me if you want, but I'm not shaving it." And he goes, "How about this? You shave your mustache, I'll shave my mustache. We'll do it right here." And he was in the makeup chair, so he had the hair and makeup person shave Hackman's mustache right then. And Richard Donner peeled his fake mustache off.
Oh my God.
And he said he fucking about lost his mind. He said he just saw him turn beet red and all the veins in his neck popped out and he's about to like lose his shit. And he said, "All right, you fucking got me. I owe you one, but you got me." And he said after that, they were like best friends.
That's funny.
Yeah. So anyways, rest in peace to Michelle Trachtenberg and Gene Hackman. Yeah.
And wife and dog.
And and the wife and the dog. So
Rip.
what do you got? A fitting tribute.
Yes.
French Connection 2?
Yeah, there's a second one.
How the fuck?
How did I miss this?
Yeah. I guess now I got to watch French Connection 1
Yeah.
to understand it.
So I got a couple things. I got a rapid fire news story segment, but I do want to quickly go over the Oscars, which are tomorrow. So that's a big thing. And this episode won't come out until after the Oscars. So I'm curious. Let's just do. I know we kind of talked about it when the nominations first came out. But what you think will win for Best Picture, not what you want to win. I know what you want to win.
I think, and I want The Brutalist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think
I thought you
both.
guys the Substance.
No. The Substance.
I'd be joyous.
I still think. I mean, I still love The Substance. I just don't. The Brutalist to me feels like a Best Picture movie. Yeah. You like. There's a lot of things that I want for The Substance, but I don't think Best Picture is it.
I want a lot for The Substance.
Yeah. I want a lot. I want success for them.
I think The Brutalist will win. I think Dune is a much bigger achievement, but it won't win.
Yeah, that's tough.
Unfortunately. Actor, Adrian Brody, Timothée Chalamet, Coleman Domingo, Ray Fiennes, Sebastian Stan. Adrian Brody will probably win for it.
Probably.
It just seems like that's what's going to happen.
He was really good. He's really good.
Actress will either be Demi Moore or Mikey Madison. Demi Moore, I think, would win based on almost like a legacy type of award. Almost like a Leo winning type of thing.
I feel like she's been better in other movies, but you're right.
Yeah. But she was great in The Substance. And I finally watched it.
Yeah.
Which I'll talk about
Spoiler alert for later.
And she was really good. But at the same time, when I watched The Revenant, Leo was really good in The Revenant, but there were other movies that maybe were a little bit more.
I think you could say that about a lot of Oscar winners, though.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, you won for that? Oh, okay. But the competition that year could have been stiffer,
Yeah. It could, the factors.
You should have won for What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Really piss off the Academy.
Yeah.
Really, or not the Academy, but everybody else.
I'm really for actor and supporting role. I'm really rooting for Yura Borisov from Anora, because he's just a delightful character in that movie. But I am also rooting for Guy Pearce because I loved his performance. But Kieran Culkin, I don't know if his odds are strong. He's been winning. I think he won a Golden Globe and a SAG award for Real Pain. I haven't watched it, so I don't know.
I was not like, it didn't have an impact on me like most people. It was a really well-made movie and I enjoyed it quite a bit, but his performance was good, and I almost think Eisenberg was better. He's got a more of a subtle performance, but the thing about it is both of them are doing what they both do best. So it's not like it wasn't transformative for Eisenberg or Culkin.
Yeah.
They both, Culkin's being a snarky, likable, snarky douche.
Yeah.
Which he's been since Scott Pilgrim and maybe even before. And then Jesse Eisenberg is playing Jesse Eisenberg.
Well, Kieran Culkin is kind of like that in IRL as well. Like he just has that sort of like...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like they're very much playing the part continuously. And I'm like, that's good.
Yeah.
I don't think it doesn't take anything away from the performance, but it just doesn't scream to me, whoa, this deserves an Oscar. Yeah.
It seems like a subtle
I forgot
performance
20 times during The Brutalist that it was Guy Pearce.
Yeah. He has a sort of a Daniel Plainview presence a little bit.
I also loved his son in that movie, the actor that played his son.
Oh, yeah.
What a fucking asshole that kid is.
Yeah, definitely.
Apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Cinematography, I would be happy if either of these three won, which would be Brutalist, Dune, or Nosferatu.
Yeah, that's stiff competition.
Yeah, because Nosferatu was a beautiful looking movie. Dune is a beautiful looking movie, and Brutalist is the beautiful looking movie.
I think Dune, it's impossible for them to not win best special effects, best effects.
Oh, like technical award?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, the first one and the second one both are fantastic. Shooting that entire scene on the black and white planet.
Oh, in infrared.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I mean, then the technical or the scientific side of shooting Nosferatu with the specific lenses that removed like reds and I think reds in the lenses to like get that sort of nighttime blue. That's really specific color blue for the nighttime scenes.
Probably my only criticism of the movie, it's like every scene is either like dark blue and black or like bright orange candlelit. It's not that it's bad, but I feel like it's when you take screenshots from that movie and you look at all the best ones, it's like it's either this or that. It's like flip, it's one or the other.
It's that strong color contrast.
Yeah.
Not even in the same scene most of the time. If it's either like all fire, candlelit, or it's all moonlight.
The only scene that transitions into that is when he's walking up the staircase and goes into the library room for the first time.
Yeah.
When he meets Orlok for the first time, is about to shit his pants.
Yeah.
Nicholas Hoult could win an Oscar for that performance. That was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
The look of terror.
If only he was nominated.
Yeah.
If only he was nominated. But yeah, those are tomorrow, and I'm excited. I'm going to be watching him.
Dallas contacted me and sent in a really cool game called Hollywood High Roller. Yeah, I think it's called Hollywood High Roller that he made. And he makes it every year for the Oscars for him and his friends. And it has all the different categories and all the different nominations. And you bet on it with like house money. You get 20 chips. They're like $100 and you bet on them against the odds. And you can bet on the favors to win sure money, but it's less money. Or you can put a long shot.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. It's going to make watching the Oscars a little more fun.
Yeah.
Because I got my own ideas. But ultimately, it's like I don't need to watch it live. It's not going to ruin my day one way or the other. But it's like fantasy football for watching movies. So I'm gonna be doing that tomorrow.
The Super Bowl of movies.
Yeah,
so
thanks Dallas. Thanks for saying that. I had it printed and everything. It was great.
Okay, so I'm just gonna rapid fire through these news stories real quick. Speaking of the Oscars, and the Oscar voters. 4 anonymous Oscar voters all said that they didn't watch Dune Part 2 and abstained from ranking it on their Best Picture ballot. In quotes, the first Dune I couldn't get through. I'm not rushing for another 3 hours of Dune.
I've read these. They're terrible.
The disrespect.
I don't know. I just feel like once if you've made it up to this point in your career where you get the right to actually vote on the Oscars, doesn't it seem like such a great
Isn't
privilege?
that the bare minimum is to watch,
watch
the
the
movies?
I don't know.
These people voted. Did these people vote in the actual like political election?
Well, that's what most voters do.
God.
I saw a blurb. I saw the commercial.
Yeah.
I get the idea.
I got it.
I saw one of them that said they watched The Brutalist on the screener app that they get from the Academy. It's like, I kept buffering, kept canceling out. I got 20 minutes in. I figured out what they were going.
Yeah.
I didn't vote for it, but I got what they were doing.
On the same note, 2 anonymous Oscar voters said they didn't vote for Ralph Fiennes because he won before. They both believed he won an Oscar for Schindler's List, which he didn't.
He hasn't. No, I don't think he's run anything.
Imagine that's like you're just like sitting there on voting, and you're like, I'm pretty sure he won already. Yeah, he won already.
Yeah, go Geiger Pierce.
Come on,
It's frustrating.
it's fuckers.
And the stakes are very low. It's just who's going to win the Oscar.
Yeah.
People voting in the general election are doing the same thing.
Yeah. The Razzies also happened.
Oh, yes. Thank you for covering this.
Francis Ford Coppola, a movie that I totally forgot about, Megalopolis,
I still got to watch that.
has responded to being nominated for Worst Director, Worst Screenplay, and Worst Picture at the Razzies. And he says, so few have the courage to go against the prevailing trends of contemporary movie making. In this wreck of a world today where art is given scores as if it were professional wrestling, I chose to not follow the gutless rules laid down by an industry so terrified of risk that despite the enormous pool of young talent at its disposal, may not create pictures that will be relevant and alive 50 years from now.
That's cool. Good for him.
Yeah, I guess.
I took a risk.
Yeah.
Fuck you. That's
Wonder-
what he says.
I wonder if he went. That'd be crazy. That'd be a bold move if he went like Halle Berry
Yeah.
and accepted. Thank you, Razzies.
If only he had the courage like Halle Berry.
Yeah. Coward. Comical headline: Jennifer Coolidge is expected to have a subplot in the live-action Minecraft movie where she falls in love with a villager in the real world.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
On that note, somebody brought the domain minecraftmovie.com,
Oh, really?
and they are avid Minecraft player, and they hate the fact that the movie's coming out, and they're basically, it's an anti-movie webpage dedicated to saying, boycott this movie, don't watch this movie, fucking sucks. Open world games do not deserve movies.
Yeah.
You know, there's no storyline there. And they basically are talking all this shit and like negative Minecraft movie memes posted on there. It's really funny. That's a power move. And they said, send me $10 million and you can have your domain.
Kathleen Kennedy says Taika Waititi is now working with a new writer for his Star Wars movie. She says, I think if we ever do get a script from Taika, it's going to be fantastic. I already saw a first act that I love, but tying him down, it's tricky. Let's do rock go around. Kathleen Kennedy again says Sean Levy's Star Wars movies starring Ryan Gosling will be set maybe 5 or 6 years after the rise of Skywalker.
So he's going to basically play like his same character from Blade Runner?
I guess. I don't know. This is the first time I'm hearing about Ryan Gosling being in a Star Wars movie.
That's an interesting move. He did say he doesn't want to do heavy movies anymore.
Oh, like emotional?
Yeah, like
weight movies?
Yeah, like he doesn't want to bring that that energy into the prep for the movie to, his household.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to have to be embodying the Blue Valentine character and the Plays Beyond the Pines character for years at a time in front of his children, you know?
Or his Only God Forgives character.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg's new UFO movie is now filming.
Ooh, that's cool.
Starring Emily Blunt, Wyatt Russell, Coleman Domingo, Colin Firth, Eve Hewson, and Josh O'Connor.
As Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind.
Yeah, War of the Worlds 2. And then the biggest news of all, save for last, Mummy Pig, mother of Peppa Pig, has announced that she is pregnant with her third child.
Oh my gosh.
So happy news to the pig family.
You know what? I have something to say about that. In the Shrek 5
yes,
promo
Shrek 5
came out.
Also came out. Or
Zendaya is voicing Shrek and Fiona's daughter.
Right.
Where are the other two? Shrek and Fiona have 3 children.
All right.
Where are the other 2?
I don't know.
They went by the way of Tiffany Trump. They're the one that they don't talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Because they disagree.
Well, I mean, that was just the teaser, right?
Yeah.
And then they changed the way they look.
A little bit, yeah.
It's a little it's just a little off.
Yeah.
strange.
Yeah, but I mean, from Shrek 1 to Shrek 4, there was a progression anyways.
Yeah.
It's just different.
Yeah, I just watched Shrek 2 a couple weeks ago.
We need a hero.
Yeah.
We need a hero.
We do.
Yeah.
Please,
I'll
Shrek, save us.
I'll stand behind this. Shrek 4 is, I don't know if it's the best of the bunch, but it's probably right behind the Shrek 2. I think Shrek 2, Shrek 4, then number 1, number 3 is the worst by a long shot.
Oh, yeah.
But Shrek 4 is really interesting. It takes the Francis Ford Coppola route, and it takes risks, real risks.
Yeah, I haven't watched I don't even know if I've ever seen Shrek 4.
It's got Rumpelstiltskin in it.
I have seen it, but only once.
But it's a continuity error in the Shrek universe, the Shrekiverse, if you will, because Rumpelstiltskin is in an earlier movie in the franchise, first or second one, and he doesn't look anything alike.
Oh, it's not canon.
It's not canon.
It's not lore accurate.
Yeah. Brianna has many thoughts about the Shrekiverse and all the inaccuracies between the movies.
Yeah.
So we may do a side podcast, the two of us.
This doesn't make any sense.
It'll ruin our relationship.
They're just going to retcon Rumpelstiltskin?
I know. What's next? Peter Pan's played by a different person?
Yeah. I just remember Shrek the Third being the worst and the most disappointing.
It's not good.
But Shrek 4, I haven't seen. I have a vague memory of. So that's all I have.
Cool.
Let's get into some stream picks.
Movies.
Wanna watch a movie?
Yes, I do.
Disney Plus. Oh, HBO Max.
If I don't get the pick, show's over.
I have grown accustomed to Hulu Plus.
Amazon Prime.
I like Netflix.
You found the pick.
Stream picks. Movies that are streaming on our respective streaming services that we recommend or not recommend to you.
That's right.
Yeah. Pete.
Okay, so I caught up with one of your recommendations and also one of Bruce's recommendations,
Yes.
Flow.
Yes.
Streaming on Max right now. Correction, last week I said he was from Lithuania. It's Latvia. Two very different countries. And this is, again, written and directed by Gintz Zilbalatis. Mm-hmm. And Gintz's name is all over the credits. He's a director, a producer, a writer, an editor, cinematographer, art direction, composer. He did the music, sound mixing, like literally every aspect of this movie was from him. There's other people obviously involved as well, but this is Latvia's first ever Oscar nomination in a movie in any category, and the first ever Golden Globes nomination from Latvia. So this is a really kind of a big accomplishment for the country and kind of a milestone for the industry there. And I'll summarize it again for those that didn't listen last week, but the concept is Flow it's following a black cat, an unnamed cat, and there's no words in the entire movie. There's no humans in the entire movie at all. Mm-hmm. I won't extrapolate on that, but there's no human scene in the movie.
No.
And you're basically brought into a black cat wandering around, and in this universe, it's very. You're not sure if it's like a fantasy world or if it's set like 600 years in the past or something like that,
or the future.
Yeah, it could be the future. Because everything that looks man-made there is either stone and architectural or very rudimentary rope and stone and things like that. No machinery, electronics. There's one scene when they get into the city where there's like metal arms that you would use to like drop a boat into a water. But that's the extent of it. That's about it. It almost feels like a little bit like in the Arcane universe from the Arcane series. But basically you're following this cat around, this black cat, and it's just living its life. It's like over here, it's going to chase birds, and then over here, and then it hears dogs barking, and the dogs come through, and it runs away from the dogs. And then it goes back to its house. It's kind of this dilapidated little cottage in the middle of this woods, and everything is overgrown. Everything's got moss and beautiful foliage and stuff. And the animation is interesting because the water animation is like photorealistic. Mm-hmm. It's really good water animation. And then the animals are a little bit more rudimentary. They kind of seem like trying to figure out like what animation style it looks like. You ever seen the Untitled Goose Game?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Okay, it's kind of like much better version of that, but it's like a rudimentary coloring, not nearly advanced with like the texture graphics of the feathers of the birds or the hair on the animals or whatever, and which is fine. None of it takes away from it. But all you get is the little meows of the cat, and you're feeling the emotions of the meows of the cat, and the sounds of the capybara that he meets, and the secretary bird that they meet, and the lemur that they meet, and then all the dogs. And you have this golden retriever that he becomes friends with, kind of frenemies with, and Shiba Inu and a Chow and a Chinese crested, something like that. And as in the first 10 minutes of the movie, you realize that there is water's rising in this woods, and the cat is just basically like, oh fuck, what do I do? And there's all these animals running away, and the cat's by itself, and it's not sure if it should kind of trust the dog, and the boat floats along with all the dogs, and it's like, I ain't getting on that thing. I'm just going to be dead meat to those dogs. And it kind of climbs this giant statue, this cat statue that somebody had made in the wilderness. And a boat comes along, and he jumps on the boat, or she jumps on the boat. It's unnamed, ungendered cat. And there's a capybara on the boat. And the capybara is just like, hey, what's up? Welcome to the boat. I'm going to sleep. And they just float around this world that's slowly flooding, and the flood waters are rising higher and higher. And you see that giant fish creature that keeps coming up, like the whale fish thing.
Yeah, it's like a
dinosaur or some sort of
prehistoric whale looking.
Yeah, it's like a Leopleurodon or a Plesiosaurus or something. And then, but it looks like something out of Avatar, the second Avatar. So I don't know if this is hundreds of years in the future, thousands of years in the past, if it's a fantasy world, because there's things that are happening that you're just like, is this the world or it's not the world?
That's how I took it. It was like a fantasy world.
I think it was. I think that's where I come down on it. It's got fantasy because the fish didn't look like fish that I know. And they had video game logic. As soon as they get snatched by the cat, it's immediately dead. They're not flopping around or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm dead. That's my my fate is sealed. I'll just die. But it's a really, really sweet movie. It's really just kind of a vibe movie. You have it on, and it's fucking tense at times, though.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for how tense it was.
That cat got himself into
You're constantly like, bro, stay on the boat. Of all the cats, you're the most clumsy of all the cats. You shouldn't be standing on the edge of the boat. And he's always on the edge of the boat.
Yeah.
Always into the water. And sometimes he jumps in the water, and then the current of the boat takes it away really fast.
Yeah.
You're like, what did you do?
What did you think was going to happen?
Why are you in the water now?
Yeah.
For no reason. So, but it's a really well-made movie, and trying to make like a story, an arch, like a forward progressing story, and build characters with literally just sounds of animals, chittering and meowing and birds cawing and stuff is impressive. It's really impressive. It's really hard, but the way they executed it was impressive.
Yeah.
So I really liked Flow a lot. It's like a 4.5 star movie, almost a 5-star movie. That bird gang was pissing me off.
Oh yeah.
What they do to the main bird. I'm like, you fucking assholes.
Yeah.
You can't.
They're like, you race traitor.
Yeah, for real. And they seemed very holier than thou.
Yeah.
And the bird seemed like the smartest out of all the animals, which is weird because most birds are considered dumb.
Yeah. Crows and
ravens and owls.
Owls are actually really stupid.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They're portrayed as smart.
Yeah.
And then parrots and things like that are pretty smart.
Yeah.
Like they can do logic, things like that.
They can talk.
Yeah.
So, crows and ravens could talk too.
So so Flow is 100% worth your time. And it's not even an hour and a half. It's like 1:22, hour 22 or something like that. It's a really easy watch, fast watch. Be prepared to be a little bit tense, but there's only one heartbreaking moment near the end. I'll just leave it at that. So if you're waiting, you're like, are they going to make it out? Am I going to be crying when this movie's over? You may be sad.
I definitely felt that in the beginning when he's on top of when the cat's on top of the statue and the water's just going around him.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is sad.
Yeah. There's a number of times where I'm like, he's definitely dead now.
He's all alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a sequence where him and the bird go to the top of this mountain, and what transpires there is
wow. Yeah.
Really, really cool.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is, it's like an Alex Garland sequence or something like that, like a very...
Yeah, it's ethereal.
Yeah, right. Kind of. What's the word I'm looking for? Not eclectic, but very interpretive.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just like raw emotion.
Like, what does it mean?
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, okay, you could interpret it 3 or 4 different ways. So I was thinking of your review from last week when I was watching it. I'm like, yeah, you could just watch this as a surface level movie and enjoy the cute animals and the interactions and stuff, almost like a nature documentary.
Yeah.
But watching the animals steer the boat was like, okay, this is fucking cool.
Yeah.
I like that. So watch Flow. Be ready for a little bit of sadness, but it's worth your time.
Mm-hmm.
That's streaming on Max right now. And then I watched Conclave, which is streaming on Hulu right now. I'm sorry, Peacock, not Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
So Conclave, what do you know about Conclave?
I just know it's about a cardinal who uncovers something or finds something out and vapes.
You know what? There is a scene where one of the cardinals vapes. I don't know if it's where he finds or not.
That's what I've heard about it.
It's like, did you watch The Two Popes?
No.
Man, you should watch it. It's good. Really good. It's a walk and talk movie. It's like
Before Sunrise, but popes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's before Pope Rise.
Yeah, nice.
But the Two Popes is based off of reality. There was a pope that stepped down from wanting to be the pope, and you're supposed to just go till you die.
Yeah, you can't just leave. You got to die.
What, you got to quit?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lifetime appointment.
Yeah.
So, because you're ordained from God, supposedly.
Yeah.
But you're not ordained from God because there's an entire voting process. There's a
so
voting
then which is it? Vatican?
Well, God guided their votes. Duh.
Huh.
Anything good that happens, God guided their hand. Anything bad that happens, it was God's plan, and the devil got in the way.
Yeah.
Didn't you know? So anyways, in The Two Popes, you're basically Jonathan Pryce is this up and coming cardinal or whatever they're called. What is it? That's a cardinal. And there's like the level right below the Pope, and he's an up and coming cardinal. He's from Central America somewhere, I think, and the Pope decides to step down. That's Anthony Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a whole voting process, and the Jonathan Pryce cardinal is like, why do you want me? Why? Because it's unprecedented to have the Pope say, I want this guy to be the next Pope.
Oh, like a specific person?
Yeah, because you're dead,
Yeah.
So it's just like, whatever, we all vote on each other. And there's a whole pomp and circumstance and this whole theory behind it. It's really interesting. And you know about the black smoke and the white smoke?
Yeah.
So most people know pretty much just that.
Black smoke is they're dead, right? Or was that white smoke?
I think it's like white smoke is one of the colors means that there is no new Pope. Because they go in conclave is the process of basically putting them all in like this sequestered in the Vatican, and they can't leave, they can't talk to the outside, and all they have is they're basically every day they vote on who's going to be the next Pope, and they all talk to each other, and they all have their favorites, and it's like basically like draft day but for the Pope.
Yeah,
and they all have their individual rooms, and they all make their individual votes once a day, and it's interesting, they take their votes and they put their name down, they fold it in half, this little piece of paper, they all hand it in, and they one by one they read it. Well, first one by one they get up and they put their vote slip into this gold cauldron thing with a turnstile on it, so it flips in and it can't come out. And then there's 3 of the other officials sitting at the table, and one of them reads it and then hands it to the next one, and the other one reads it out loud who the vote is, and then the third one takes it and he pierces it with a needle and thread. It's like a thick red thread, like yarn almost. And he pierces it together, and all the votes get pierced together into this chain of these pieces of paper, like a popcorn rope around like a Christmas tree. Oh,
okay.
Put all pieces of popcorn together.
Yeah.
And, popcorn garland, I think they call it. So they put all the cardinals' votes together and pierce it together, and if there's has to be 75% of the votes to get Pope. And if there's deviation there, if there's like 7 people that all are kind of split votes there, that's not going to be 75%. Then they take all those and they burn them, and then they release the white smoke or the black smoke or whatever. And it tells the public, we have not come to a conclusion. There's no new Pope. Then the next day they vote again. And maybe the person who...
It's like a jury.
It is. And maybe the next day the people who... The cardinals that only had like 7 votes and everybody else had 35 votes... People are like, well, he's not going to win. I'll just vote for the other guy.
What's changing, though? Is there like conversations?
That's the whole movie.
Okay.
So Conclave, the entire movie, is Rafe Fiennes he's a cardinal, and he's like basically saying, I'm going to leave the church. I'm going to step down from my cardinal position. I'm questioning my faith.
Right.
So he doesn't want to be voted for. And there's other people that are like, you're the right decision. We're going to vote for you. And he's like, you're wasting your vote. I'm not the guy.
I'm not that guy.
I'm not that guy. But he kind of like is the leader of this college of cardinals during the conclave. And he's talking with like his aide or something who's able to go in and out. He's able to go into the public and then come into him. And he starts hearing rumors of dubious natured intent, people sabotaging other cardinals, people bringing in other people from their personal life to basically cause a scene. And it's like, if you have drama, if you're Cardinal Navarro from Bolivia and somebody shows up and it's like, I have secrets from your past and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, whether it's true or not, everybody now it's like, oh, look at Cardinal Navarro. He's got skeletons in his closet. I'm not going to vote for him. And then it could cost you the papacy or whatever they call it. So every round of votes, there's drama between the votes. And John Lithgow's in this. Yeah. Ray Fiennes is in this. Stanley Tucci, Isabella Rossellini, who's nominated for supporting actress. She's got a really, really small part. And then there's some other people that I've never seen before that were so fucking good. They're so fantastic. This is not like an all-time great movie, but it is really good. And it's like a reality show drama of like a reality show mixed with, it's almost like, you know how when you get in late stage games in like a Survivor or Big Brother or something like that.
Amazing Race.
Yeah, one of those. And you're like, how do you win? Well, you get everybody to vote for you. Well, how do you do that? I don't know. It should.
Oh, not Amazing Race.
Or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, Survivor because there's voting. Big Brother because there's also voting.
And there's games involved, in that. But there's not so much games, but it's all interactions with other people. And it's these cardinals that is like, it's like being voted president. That's the highest order you can get. It's the highest ascension you can get. And if you're already a cardinal, it's clear that you want to ascend to the highest power of this government, or in this case, this religion. So almost all these people want to be pope. And like Stanley Tucci is a very liberal cardinal. And I can't remember the guy's name. It's maybe it's Carlos Diaz. No, he's the guy. He's a different one. Sergio Castellito. There it is. Sergio Castellito. He's an actor you've probably seen before. Don't know the name. He's great, and he is a very conservative. And he's like, other Muslims need to be exterminated. We need to take a holy war out. And some of the cardinals agree with it. And Stanley Tucci's like, no, we need to lead with love and compassion, like Christ would. And other people support him. And then there's people in the middle. So it's really fascinating, and it's very like a petty bitch drama in a way, but they're all cardinals. So there was something revealed to me about it that I wish I didn't know earlier before watching it. So
you knew something about it?
I know a little bit about it. Yeah, okay. I heard some.
I know nothing about it.
I know, and I'm not going to say anything about that. But it surprised me in a good way.
Okay.
And once I got to the end, I was like, oh, I think I know what's going to happen. Maybe it could be this. Maybe that guy's going to get voted in. And it was not who I expected. And then there was more past the actual, because with like the two popes, once the new pope is voted in, that's it. Story's over. Everybody wins. Blah 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 blah. The new pope and the old pope kind of share a beer together and they watch soccer. And in this one, there's more to it. There's like a denouement that happens, and it's actually impactful and it's actually relevant to our society. So I highly recommend this. It's on Peacock. As I'm talking about it, my rating's going from like 4 stars to 4.5 stars.
Nice,
but it's really good. It's a 4-star, maybe 4.5-star movie. I liked it quite a bit.
Okay, better than the Two Popes.
Very different. This is more entertaining than the Two Popes.
Okay,
Two Popes I respect because something like My Dinner with Andre, or Before Sunrise, or The Two Popes is just two people talking to each other, and that in itself is impressive to make it compelling. And I was bought and sold.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It probably helps because I come from a religious background, and but it's not Catholicism; it's Christianity.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, this stuff's really fascinating to me, anyways. So So I watched those. Those are my two probably highest recommends. And then I watched a fun movie that was like a Lost movie for a while. It was lost in distribution hell, and no one could you couldn't have access to it.
Mm-hmm.
This is The Hole from Joe Dante from 2009. Director Joe Dante.
Director of Inner Space.
Excuse me.
And Gremlins.
Yes, Gremlins, Inner Space. So he's an interesting, like, people know Joe Dante, and I don't think they
got a memorable name.
Yeah,
Joe Dante.
Yeah, cool name. Directed Piranha, 1978, Inner Space, The Howling, Gremlins. What else? What else is he directed? Let's see here.
Piranha. You already mentioned Piranha.
Piranha, yeah. Looney Tunes Back in Action. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Small Soldiers. That's the one I love from him.
Mm-hmm.
Love Small Soldiers. Matinee. That one's supposed to be wild. Never seen that. The Burbs. Yep, I like that one. Twilight Zone. He did a segment on Twilight Zone. Explorers. Terrible. Hate that movie. So this is made in 2009, and he's made stuff since then, but a lot of it is like TV related. Like he did 10 episodes of Splatter in 2009, 2014, Burying the X, a movie, 2 episodes of Witches of the East End, a bunch of TV, and then Nightmare Cinema. He directed a segment in 2018. So this is kind of one of his last movies he made.
Yeah.
And it's really mid, but on the good side.
Okay.
Yeah, it's almost like
it's mid plus.
It's mid plus, yeah. It's premium mid. Like I can't say anything particularly bad about it, except for sometimes it's boring and the stakes are very low.
Mm-hmm.
But the concept is that there's 2 brothers and their mom. They moved to a new place in the middle America. They came from Brooklyn,
mm-hmm.
and they move around a lot. And you find out it's because the kid, the older brother, he's probably 16, 17, right around there. And the younger brother's around 12, 12, 13, maybe younger. Kind of a little kid. And they say that they don't have a dad, but you find out later their dad is like just a really bad guy. And I won't say anything more than that because it helps in the plot development. But this is streaming on Amazon Prime, so everybody can watch it now. For the longest time, I heard about it. I knew about the movie, but you couldn't watch it anywhere. So now it's on Amazon Prime. I think it's worth watching, especially if the name Joe Dante means something to you. It's interesting to see what the finality of his career is.
Yeah.
So it mixes some practical effects and some CG, and the CG is actually pretty decent for 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like a relatively low budget movie, so it's really easy to imagine the CG is going to be shitty, but it's not bad. And the main story plot is those 2 brothers, they move to this middle America and they're not happy about it. The older brother isn't, at least. And they go in their basement and they find this hatch on the ground. They open the hatch and there's a hole, a bottomless hole. They drop something into it and they can't hear at the bottom of it.
Mm-hmm.
They drop this Cartman doll on a rope that plays sounds, drops from Cartman.
Okay.
I'm not fat, I'm big bone.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, screw you guys, I'm going home. It's like very much time capsule. And it's the little brother's toy, and they put it on repeat, and then they drop it down into the hole, and you can hear it going, and then eventually it just disappears, and you bring it back, and the end of the rope is frayed. Like, ooh, something's in the hole.
What's in the
hole?
Shut your hole.
So they should have shut the hole because something bad's in there, and it comes out. And what that is it's almost like a well, I won't say exactly what it is, but it's almost like It, where it's like
it's a clown.
It's like what scares you? That's what you're gonna get out of it.
Oh, okay.
Sort of a thing. You know what I mean? Like
so it's like that
different for each person.
That armoire in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like you'll see what you're most feared of.
Yeah, exactly. Most feared of. What are you most afraid of? Not existential shit. Let's keep it light.
Okay. What an interesting question.
Yeah. Like what's the thing that gives you the heebie-jeebies?
The Creeper from Jeepers Creepers.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the one, huh?
Yeah. I mean, that's the one that I can remember actually scaring the shit out of me as a kid. And the Zodiac.
Zodiac Killer?
Yeah.
How about like real life stuff? I mean, the Zodiac Killer I know is real, but he's dead now.
Is he?
Or he's in Congress in Texas.
Oh, yeah. What do you mean, like real stuff? Like
snakes, spiders, cockroaches.
Oh,
like that.
whenever I'm on a plane and I'm reminded that I'm like 36,000 feet in the air,
And you're flying 500 miles an hour.
yeah, I'm like, I get scared. Also, just deep ocean shit.
Yeah, dude.
Being out on the deep ocean and then just being like open water.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't like that.
I'm like,
As soon as something touches my foot when I'm in the lake, I'm like, all right, I'm out of here.
I'm done.
I'm back on the boat.
I'm done.
That I don't like cockroaches. Those scare me.
Are you scared of them?
They give me the creeps more than anything.
Oh,
Like
okay.
if I knew there was a cockroach in my bedroom, I wouldn't be able to sleep
Oh yeah,
because I would have to get up and kill it and get it out of there.
yeah.
I hate cockroaches. But I'm more afraid of like alien abduction. I know that's
really?
arguable whether it's real or not, and I don't even believe in aliens. Like here, the thing is, like I believe in aliens exist in our universe. They have existed or do exist. The idea that another intelligent life form does not exist in the vastness of our universe, in the infinite timeline that it's existed, is stupid.
Yeah.
It has to be possible. But the likelihood of them existing on our timeline of existence,
However,
and near us enough to be able to physically travel here and contact us, I think is so minuscule, it's impossible. But I'm still afraid of it.
The intersection of an alien coming across Earth seems highly improbable.
It's like we go into the middle of the ocean and we run into a fish. Not any fish, but one specific fish.
Oh, yeah,
There's this one clownfish named Carl that existed sometime in the entire timeline of human existence. And you or me swim out into the ocean, try to find Carl.
Yeah.
He could have died 100 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Or he could exist 1,000 years from today and we'll never know it. So it's impossible to me.
Yeah.
That's how I think about aliens. But after watching X-Files as a kid and the idea of like a beam of light coming into your room and levitating you out into the mothership is fucking terrifying to me.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah, they make it seem like it's just happening all the time.
Yeah.
In X-Files.
And nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Your sister got abducted. Now you're Fox Mulder. Now you got to work for the FBI.
Yeah, the universe would have to be a lot smaller for the likelihood of that happening.
And it's like, what's the timeline of human existence
Compared to the timeline of the universe?
Yeah, let's just say on the very generous side, 100,000 years.
I've seen the comparison of like if you look at a year-long calendar, the human existence is like on day one of the calendar, and compared to the lifespan of the universe. I don't even
think it's a day. It's like a 1 second of the year.
Yeah.
So anyways, those are my fears, and the thing in the hole, preys on your fears.
The thing in the hole.
So yeah, that's The Hole 2009 streaming on Amazon Prime.
Yeah. Not to be confused with The Hole with Thora Birch.
The Thora Birch and Keira Knightley movie.
Yeah, 2001, which we reviewed.
Yeah. Which has questionable content in there. In retrospect, after looking at the behind the scenes.
Just a little bit.
There's some maybe topless actors that were not properly vetted for age, or it's a British movie and they're just fine with that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's move on.
That's all you have?
Yeah, what do you got?
Okay, I got some heavy hitters this week.
Cool.
The big boys, since it is Oscar weekend. But first, I'm going to start off with one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Ooh.
That is came out last year, called The Front Room.
Oh boy.
Streaming on Max, starring Brandy Norwood, Andrew Burnap, Catherine Hunter. No one I've really seen before in another movie or that I recognized. And Brandy and her husband are she's pregnant throughout most of the movie, and then at one point the child is birthed. And what happens is Brandy's husband's dad dies, and the only person remaining is his stepmom, and she's by herself, and she sells the house that she was living in, and then they're like, well, where are you gonna live? And like, well, I'll just come and live with you. And she is an ultra religious, like cult-like religious person.
Okay.
And she is on the verge of death throughout the whole movie. Like she's that old, and she needs 2 canes to walk.
So she had her son at a late age, and
she's a stepmom.
Oh,
Yeah, or
stepmom of Brandy's late husband.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
And no, her husband is still alive. His dad dies, and the stepmom was the wife.
Got
of
it.
him.
Okay.
And so she comes and lives with this married couple who are expecting their first child.
I thought they had a kid already.
No.
Okay, got it.
And like I said, she is very, very religious, conservative in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like Old Testament stuff.
Okay.
You know, she's got that hint of racism, casual racism, that's peppered in throughout the movie.
Is she not black?
No, she is not.
Okay. So she's like racist against her stepson and his wife?
Again, no, because the stepson is not black.
Oh, okay.
It's
just against her, against Brandy's
interracial couple. Yes.
Got it.
Because she had said, not on screen, but she said that like she would have a problem with their relationship. And then she brings it up later in the movie in a very awkward conversation.
Oh boy! All right.
And it's marketed as a horror movie, but it's not really a horror movie. It's really just about like the worst thing that could happen with living with your in-law.
What's the worst thing that could happen?
This.
Oh, I mean, well, what happens?
So she moves in with them. She needs a lot of care. She can't walk upstairs, so she lives in the front room. She sleeps in the front room.
Got it.
And she is incontinent. And so I did not expect this movie to be as gross as it was, because there's a lot of shit and piss.
Really?
There's a lot of manipulation of her stepson, because she raised him essentially. And they already have a history, so he feels like a responsibility, and he has that guilt sort of built in, that mother's guilt. And she's not hiding it from Brandy, the daughter-in-law that she doesn't like, because she'll like whine like help me, and then after some bickering between Brandy and her husband, he will like pick her up and carry her to the bathroom or something, and then like behind his back she will just like smile and wink at her like,
oh, so it's like we need to talk about Kevin except for with an old woman instead of a baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's some weird like horrific dream sequences that happen that are like just so disgusting and disturbing.
Are those like the horror elements?
Yes, but it's not really
happening.
It's nothing really that would classify it as horror. It's more just like a psych thriller, I guess. And it takes place pretty much in this house. And but it's like the best performance is the old woman, because she is unhinged.
Okay.
She is crazy. And I can't say that I wouldn't recommend watching it, because it is just like, I was just like kind of laughing at it the whole time.
He said it's one of the worst movies you've ever seen.
It is, definitely.
But still worth a watch?
I mean,
with knowing what you're getting yourself into?
Yes.
Like be ready for the piss and shit?
Yeah. It's gross.
Okay.
For sure. But it's not a good movie. This is directed by,
I was just going to say,
Max Eggers and Sam Eggers.
I can't believe that.
I don't know if there's any relation.
It is. Max Eggers wrote The Lighthouse and The Witch with Robert Eggers.
Damn.
Sam is only crew. He like helped out on the crew for The Witch, and that's it.
Oof.
So this is like the other two brothers, the Outcast brothers.
Oh God. No.
I remember hearing about Max directing his own movie.
I did forget that,
but I didn't know anything about it.
Was a part of.
He wrote everything with Robert.
Yeah. What about Nosferatu? Was he part of that?
I think so.
Oh. He comes out with this. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not. It's hard to recommend.
It looks like he was not. He wrote The Front Room. He wrote The Lighthouse. Max.
Oh, okay.
Not The Witch.
But yeah, that's the worst of the week, and it's an A24 movie. It's yeah.
They can't all be home runs, I guess.
No. Next one, I caught up with The Gorge, streaming on Apple TV Plus.
Oh, cool.
And you're right, it is a fun, good time. And what really did it for me was that it reminded me of so many other things, like King Kong, the Bug Pit.
Yep.
It reminded me of at when the sort of climax turn happens of the movie. It started to remind me of Far Cry. a little bit of Dark Souls, and Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Because there's
Raccoon City.
There's some mutation things going on. You talked about the Hollow Men in your review, and when they're in it, it's definitely like full on like kind of actiony horror-ish. Because it's definitely video gamey when they get there, for sure. When it's really fun.
I feel like they took some inspiration from like Dark Souls bosses or Elden Ring bosses.
Yeah.
With some of the creature design.
Yeah.
And Davy Jones' crew from Pirates of the Caribbean 2.
Yeah.
The barnacle faces and all that stuff.
Yeah, when their first encounter, I'm like, it reminds me of fucking Bootstrap Bill when he comes out of the wall.
Exactly. A lot of inspiration, a lot of puzzle pieces to this movie.
Yeah, but it was fun. The dynamic between the two, like the lead up when they're not together, was fun. And
I was rolling my eyes so hard my retinas hurt afterwards.
Yeah. Definitely cheese.
Yeah.
On that, like sort of on the romantic part of it. But it was a fun movie for sure. I guess the production level though, when they get to a certain part of the movie, it felt like a kind of a cheaper version of like a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
In terms of like the world and like the CG and stuff.
What part?
When they're there, when they're
in the gorge,
when they're in it.
Yeah. They're gonna go in the gorge.
Yeah, I mean, you can't not go in the gorge. But it's definitely it's a fun movie and it's worth a watch for sure.
For anybody who watches that movie after you watch it, go to force5podcast.com, and Jason Kleberg did a write-up, written review of it, and he also did a comparison from the way the script was originally written and what made it to screen. And there's some really fascinating differences there.
Yeah. And that's streaming on, again, Apple TV Plus, starring Miles Teller, Anya Taylor-Joy, pretty much for 95% of it.
Yeah.
And then Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver for a hot minute.
Yeah. Okay, and then the big ones. I watched A Complete Unknown, not streaming for free. I rented it on Apple TV for $25.
Wow.
It's still playing in theaters, but I couldn't carve out the time to go see it before tomorrow, which is the Oscars.
Doesn't seem like you need to see it in theaters.
No,
but
not really.
You tell me.
But I mean, I guess I would have liked to see it in theaters, but it's not necessarily you would benefit more or less from seeing it on a bigger screen. Maybe the experience just would have been better. I don't know. So yeah, Complete Unknown, Bob Dylan biopic directed by James Mangold, starring Timothy Chalamet as the titular Bob Dylan.
The titular Complete Unknown.
Yeah, he is the unknown. Yeah, this is a pretty good movie, I gotta say.
You like your music biopics too.
Yeah, I mean, I still think that Ray is the best one.
Walk the Line.
Yeah, Walk the Line is good. But yeah, I really love Ray. I've watched that one. I watched that one a lot. But this biopic doesn't really do like anything that new or different compared to other music biopics. And I'm not well versed in Bob Dylan lore. I know the basics. I know Times Are a Changin'. I know Like a Rolling Stone. I've seen I'm Not There, which is a interesting and good movie, I think. Which was who directed that? What's his name?
Todd Haynes.
Is it Todd Haynes? I think it is Todd Haynes.
I think so.
And that's a very interesting take on Bob Dylan, kind of like separating the Bob Dylan eras into different characters.
Different actors.
Yeah. But
yeah, it's Todd Haynes.
And this is more of a straight ahead biopic that specifically covers only about 4 years of Bob Dylan's career in the 60s. And it starts with him. The movie starts with him going to a hospital where Woody Guthrie is, and Woody Guthrie is dying from a terminal illness, which I don't know what it is, but he is nonverbal. And he walks in, and Pete Seeger, played by Edward Norton, is there, and it's just them.
Pete Seeger?
Pete Seeger, who's another folk artist.
Oh.
He walks in, and the first performance that you see from Bob Dylan, he wants Woody Guthrie wants Bob Dylan to play him a song, and this is the first song you hear of Bob Dylan and like what in Timothy Chalamet's performance, which he did live, and it's kind of sets the tone for like I guess like the talent for the rest of the movie and what you can expect, and it's really good. It's solid.
Nice.
And there is a good chunk of this movie where it's all performance. It's all live performances, which for a music biopic, I was like, okay, yeah,
cool.
I'm into it.
Let's do it. Yeah.
I'm definitely into it.
And they're all performed by the actors?
I believe so. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if everyone, I don't know if they all performed it themselves. I would say maybe yes. I would assume.
Yes, Edward Norton sang in the 2024 film A Complete Unknown, and he played his character songs "Oh, I Held a Golden Thread" by Pete Seeger.
Yeah. But it's a really solid movie. I think I still, even though Timothée Chalamet does a really good performance in this, I still think he was nominated for the wrong movie. He has because Bob Dylan has like sort of this sort of monotone way of carrying himself and the way he speaks and the way he sings. That compared to his performance in Dune, which has a lot more of a emotional range that is like I guess more visible compared to Bob Dylan, where he's just kind of like I don't know, I don't care. But maybe it's I don't know. Maybe I'm not just seeing something. Maybe it's just like in the lack of there's more subtlety or nuance in the performance of Bob Dylan. I don't know. But that's what he's been campaigning the shit out of, like for this movie anyway.
Well, two things. Number one is the prep for this movie.
Five years.
Yeah, is like in itself has to have some sort of weight to the performance.
Yeah.
Even if the end result is less impressive.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like you and I are not Dylan heads. Like I've listened to some songs from him. I couldn't tell you name 5 songs from Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
But I know I know him as like a character, almost like an
enigma,
a personality.
Yeah.
But I don't know what his impact was to music and who he was as a person.
Yeah.
But the people who are voting on the Academy in that age group do.
Yeah.
So
well, I don't know. They don't even watch the fucking movies.
It doesn't matter. They know Bob Dylan, so they don't have to watch the movie. They're like, "Ooh, I'm gonna vote for the Bob Dylan movie."
Yeah.
So it's almost like you plan. It's already like pre-planned votes that are already going to be captured for that.
Yeah. There's a point where he does perform The Times They Are Changing, which was to me like highlight of the movie. Just like that performance of it. And then another performance when he performs with Joan Baez, It Ain't Me, Babe. Also really good because their relationship at that point in the movie is very like tumultuous.
Mm-hmm.
Like almost like they hate each other, even though they're performing this duet song together.
Monica Barbaro.
Yeah.
Monica Barbaro.
And yeah, it's good. It's really good. And it's worth a watch for sure. Even if you aren't into Bob Dylan. And I think it's interesting because before like punk music, which was like a anti-establishment, like political sort of, or very a political anti-establishment type of genre.
Yeah.
We had folk music, which was that in the 50s and 60s. And that's what sort of Pete Seeger, that's kind of what he did as well. Very like environmentalist and just like for the people type of musician. And
Was John Denver make any appearances?
No.
I don't know why, but I feel like that's in the same era.
It might be. I don't know. I don't know much about that era and genre of music, but
I like folk music.
But yeah,
I'll watch it eventually.
And then the climax of the movie is like Bob Dylan goes electric, right? And that's kind of like I don't know much about it, but I know that it was like a big thing when it happened in the time, like because he does it at a folk music festival. So I don't know if people are just like upset at Bob Dylan for playing electric, or he's playing electric at a folk music festival where it's all acoustic. I don't know.
They amplify it though.
Yeah.
I know it's different, but
yeah, Complete Unknown, totally worth your time for sure.
Cool, awesome.
I caught up with The Substance finally.
Oh, sweet.
Yes. This was Deanna's choice. I've been waiting for her to want to watch it.
It can be a lot.
Yeah.
It is a lot.
There's a lot going on.
It's bonkers.
Yeah, it is a wild movie. And honestly,
it's sloppy.
Not nearly as crazy or insane as I thought it was gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could all just be from anticipation and just waiting to watch it. But that was a lot in this movie where there was a lot of times in this movie where I was anticipating something disgusting or like overly disgusting to happen. And it was disgusting at points, but it was not.
I don't want to short sell it. It was gross.
It was not nearly as, there was no it wasn't that visceral I didn't have that visceral of a reaction to it. Because it leans more into the camp side of things rather than the like realistic type of things.
It had a tone match of like Dead Alive.
Yeah.
But it has A-list celebrities in it, so it's the scale is different, you know. It's like Bruce Campbell in Evil Dead 2 was put through some shit.
Yeah.
But he wasn't Bruce Campbell yet. He was still just some guy.
Yeah. And honestly, after watching Body Bags with Hair, which feels like a version of The Substance, the similar premise.
Yeah.
That Hair was a little bit more hard, I guess, cringe-inducing, a little bit more gross in a way.
That was Stacy Keach, right?
Yeah. And he just has hair just growing everywhere. Yeah. But The Substance was, I don't want to say it was tame, but it was just not as insanely gross as I imagined it to be.
Okay, cool guy.
That's all because of everybody else saying.
Yeah, it got hyped up for you. In theaters, it was absolutely bizarre. We watching that next to strangers.
Yeah, I can imagine. And a lot of needles. If you haven't watched it and you have a thing with needles, it can be punishing. Because Deanna had a hard time, and that's like one of her things that she always has to close her eyes if there's like an IV going into somebody's arm. That
it gives me the heebie-jeebies.
That and eye stuff.
Yeah.
But everyone gives us like a great performance. Dennis Quaid is just I don't know how he got roped into this, but like how he decided to do it. He wasn't doing anything else.
Yeah.
But he does, for the small amount of time he is in the movie, he is fucking just off the wall. Everything about him, everything with him is filmed with like a really really wide angle lens.
Yeah.
Just to accentuate just his presence, his dominating sort of like way of carrying himself, just like being in your face.
He's like in a Missy Elliott music video.
And his shrimp eating is that was probably one of the grossest things. But overall, like Demi was great. Margaret Qualley was great. I was like curious about their relationship because the whole thing is like they are not separate.
They are one.
They are not separate beings.
You are both one.
They are one. Yeah. But the way the movie portrays it is almost as if they are against each other at some point.
Yeah.
But there's two ways to look at it. You can look at it like that, or it's just like Demi's younger self being so like in love with being the attention getter again that she just resents her older self and vice versa, you know? So it's almost like a psychological two personality type of thing going on.
Two things about that. Number one, you absolutely do as a young person, you do favors or sabotage your older self.
Yeah.
So that's a very, very real thing. But number two, do you think that they share the same memories? Do they know what happened or do they not?
Because I don't know.
They never say that, and that's a big. That's a biggest unknown thing.
Because they don't, when they wake up, when one wakes up and the other one trashed the apartment, they don't seem like they remember what happened.
I don't think they know.
Yeah, so I don't know.
I think they had all of their memories before the substance, before they split.
Yeah.
But then all the new memories created don't share.
Because another indicator, I know we're kind of getting into the meat of the movie. I don't want to spoil anything, but like there's at one point she calls the substance company and
1-800 hotline substance,
who's 24/7 hotline too.
Yeah.
They ask her like, "Do you want to stop?" And she's like, "No, I don't want to stop." Because she's like panicking and like stuff is happening to her because of decisions the other self is making.
Yeah, they say nothing can be undone.
Yeah.
But you can stop and go back to the way it was before. But everything physically will be the same to you.
Yeah. And then I just had some questions.
Yes.
These are like little nitpicks.
Yes, let's do it.
Little nitpicks. One, that's probably one of the most inefficient billboards ever. Just right outside your window.
Yeah.
Facing the apartment building.
The freeway's right next to it.
I guess.
It's Hollywood Boulevard. She walks down the street. She's like, the stars are right there.
Is it Hollywood Boulevard?
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
I'm curious what the outside of that apartment building looks like that she lives in, because she has this lavish, giant living room, right? Like a penthouse. And then she lives in a building with some other people because there's a neighbor. And I'm like, does he have the same type of apartment where he has a huge living room with pink carpet?
She bought 3 apartments and took the walls down.
Yeah. And then about Sue, which is her other self, like when she gets hired, you know, she does this thing to get Sue to like essentially be relevant again, but not really be relevant again because it's a different person.
Yeah.
And her name is Sue. Does she have like a social security number? Does she have a mailing address?
Don't think about that.
Like when she's filling out the paperwork for the TV show, like her W-2, 1099. Like, is she Sue what?
It's Cash.
First name Sue, last name
Sparkle.
Social Security.
Yeah.
Because if it's implied that, is it implied that that's what she looked like when she was younger?
No,
we don't see her.
No.
We don't see her when she's younger.
No, it doesn't make you.
I guess we kind of do.
It doesn't make you your younger self. It makes you the best version of yourself.
Interesting. Okay, so then that I already kind of inferred that, right? So because nobody was like, "Hey, you look just like Elizabeth Sparkle when she was
exactly
at your age." And then the whole like, I got to be gone every other week. That didn't bother me that much, but it was mainly just those tiny little the billboard, and just her tax identification number.
Just those two. Everything else I believed.
Yeah. And then when she gets full on, when she hogs the substance, when she's hogging her time, you know, she turns into that guy from 300.
Oh yeah, the guy.
You're right. Epiphanes or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
The mutant guy who really wants to be a Spartan warrior. But yeah, the substance was really good, really entertaining,
good
for sure. And it was way more campy than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And I had been spoiled already. I'd like seen Monstro.
Yeah.
Like pictures of her and like the making of the end scene.
Yeah. How'd you like the blood cannon?
That was funny.
Super fun.
It definitely seemed derivative of like, or derivative / inspired. Like obviously you have like Stanley Kubrick references in there with like
a lot of homages. The
carpet and like the upwards shot, when Jack is pounding on that fridge door.
Heavy colors,
strong colors.
Yeah.
Also society a little bit.
Oh yeah, there's for sure society in there.
Some strong shunting going on.
You could use a good shunting this weekend.
And a lot of butts.
Hell yeah.
A lot of butts in this.
I saw a tweet from one of the production assistants or designers or something like that said, my job was to be in charge of palm trees and shots of butts. And I think I did a great job.
Palm trees.
Ephialtes is the mutant guy from 300. Yeah.
So yeah, and that's streaming on Mubi, which I have a free trial on.
Mubi only.
Yeah, for now.
It's the Mubi original.
Is that how it was in the theater?
Yeah.
It said Mubi original.
Mubi original. It's their first one, and it got nominated for Best Picture.
Nice.
Best Picture, Best Actor, or sorry, lead actress.
It's a bold movie to be nominated to get such esteem.
I'm telling you, after everything, everywhere, all at once,
it's made it through the Golden Globes.
We're in our sicko era right now.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, it's such an outlier of the other movies.
Yeah, it stands head and shoulders above the rest.
Yeah. And then not streaming anywhere, only in theaters. I watched The Monkey.
Cool.
Osgood Perkins' The Monkey.
That's cool.
A movie that our good old Australian pal Jack Fitz loved.
Yeah, 4.5 stars he gave it.
I did not love this movie. I have two trains of thought.
Okay.
On this movie, I think the story, out of 5 stars, the story is like a C-D.
Okay.
I did not care about the story. I did not care about the characters. At one point, I lost the plot of the movie.
Okay.
I feel like it just like really slogged down in the middle somewhere. And I was wondering, it's like, wait, where's this going?
Mm-hmm.
But it is an extremely fun movie to watch, and it is kind of funny for sure. It is comedy first, and then horror second.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
And it's based off a Stephen King short story. It's essentially like, it's like whenever the monkey, it's like a little toy monkey, although in the movie they don't call they're like, don't call it a toy. It's not a toy. It's a wind-up monkey. It plays a little snare drum.
Okay, cool.
Right. And anytime someone turns the key, somebody dies.
Oh, that's the rule?
At random.
Okay.
And in the movie, they say it. There's a narrator. One of the main character is narrating the movie for like half of it.
Okay.
Because it starts in the past. With their father, who's trying to pawn off the monkey, and he's like, "You need to take this off my hand." And then that first sequence sets the tone of the whole movie, the comedic tone and the over the top camp tone.
Okay.
And then it goes to them, the main character and his brother, who are twins, being raised by their mom, and they're in like middle school, and that's like the first act. And then it goes into them being adults. And the monkey's just been sticking around. Somehow it's just been coming back. They've tried to get rid of it, and it just comes back. And in the movie, the narrator explains that like there is no explanation for how the monkey works, and so they give you the suspension of disbelief.
They tell you right off the bat, don't think too hard about it.
Yeah, exactly. And essentially, it's almost like a Final Destination. It's like how it works, like how it's like Rube Goldberg type things happen, and that's how the kills happen.
Okay.
And it is at random.
So
it's almost like a proximity thing, though.
Oh, like you have to be near the monkey.
It's like a 2.5 mile radius.
Somewhere in town.
Yeah, because there's a part in the movie where the whole town gets affected. And it is extremely, what I think the best part of the movie is the editing.
Okay.
Because it is done in such a comedic style.
Oh, great.
Where things are like, people's characters are like, when they're talking and they're cut off, like it just jumps to the next sequence. And the music as well, like the timing of the music, and there's a lot of like hard cuts that transition well into the next sequence.
Okay.
And it's like, it's jarring, but in a good way, because it's funny, I think.
I saw a thing from Oz Perkins that he said the number one thing they had to keep in mind was that all the deaths can be things that are impossible to happen in real life.
Yes.
Like an electric cord going into a pool is not going to kill you.
Yep.
But it will in the monkey.
Yep.
Things like, oh, this would never have the weight or the trajectory to be able to slice your head off, but it's going to happen in this movie.
Yeah, there's a Benihana sequence.
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah.
I can't wait. I'm excited for this one.
And there's a pool sequence, and the things that happen, it's like almost like Death Proof or a Planet Terror quality of like schlock camp blood.
Okay,
people are just balloons,
blood balloons
filled with blood, and can just be popped and they just burst.
Take my blood bag. Take my blood bag.
And yeah, first I will say that I thought it was pretty funny. It doesn't take itself seriously at all, but I did not give a shit about the characters or the story. And it's really like well made and it has a style to it. But as far as like the movies go, I guess between like Longlegs and this one, I would prefer to watch Longlegs again than to watch this one again.
Interesting that they're so diametrically opposed in tone.
The tone is really different.
Do you know that Oz Perkins' mom was on one of the planes on 9/11?
Really?
And his dad was Anthony Perkins, who died of AIDS as a closeted gay man.
Yeah.
He was giving an interview, and he basically said, death comes for everybody, and sometimes it's going to come in the ways that you would not expect.
Yeah.
And that's where the monkey came from. It's just like, you could die from fucking anything. My parents did. And here I am. Isn't it funny?
Yeah. That's a heavy theme in this movie too.
Yeah.
For sure.
I can't wait.
Yeah. I mean, you could...
How many stars are great or whatever?
I'd give it like a 3.5.
Oh, okay.
3.5. Story is, story is like a 2.
What did Michael Elliott give it? I'm just kidding. He doesn't go to theaters.
Yeah. But it does not take itself seriously whatsoever. And just really, just don't think about it too hard. Don't try to put logic onto it because there is no logic.
David Rosen gave it 4 stars, which makes sense because he loves Evil Dead. Bruce gave it 2 stars. Oh yeah, I remember Bruce saying that he
didn't like it.
He wanted more rules about the thing.
Yeah, I didn't care about the rules because they kind of say in the movie.
4.5 from Jack. Wow, 4 from Paul from the Countdown podcast. He doesn't give anything 4 stars.
Yeah, I'm like between Bruce and Jack.
Okay.
In terms of how I don't know if I'd watch it.
That's a place I'd like to be.
Oh, you know what I'm you know what I'm but yeah, it's a recommend. I mean, you could wait for it. Not necessarily a theater watch. But yeah, I thought it was solid.
Cool. Awesome. Anything else?
And that's all I have.
Okay, that's a monumental streaming picks and Gab and Chatter that we have this week.
Yeah, I mean, you have no listeners. You have no Wednesday release.
There's not going to be no Wednesday episode. Maybe I'll upload an old episode or something like that. We talked about how shitty the first ones are. Maybe I'll upload one of the early episodes.
Yeah.
Much to the chagrin of everybody. I don't want that. But maybe it's time. The sheer whiplash from that episode to next week's.
Yeah.
That's assuming we got better.
Episode 1 versus episode 500.
Oh, fuck. I think we already re-released episode 1, and we re-recorded The Witch as well. It was The Witch, right? No, it was You're Next. Yeah, Witch was number 2.
That was the first year. We haven't revisited any other movie since. I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
Should we do it? I don't know. Should we revisit every movie on its year anniversary?
And we only do 52 movies ever. We just keep doing the same ones.
What did you think about it this time?
Yeah. That's still good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. It's good.
That reminds me, because I was going to bring this up, and because we're not reviewing Pablo Mall Cop 2, part 2. It's one movie. There's a podcast called Till Death Do Us Blart.
Oh my gosh.
Where these group of friends review Paul Blart every Thanksgiving, and they're going to keep doing it until they die.
Until one of them dies, or
until one of them dies, yeah.
Wow. That's a choice.
Yeah.
I mean, Joel rewatches The World's End every year, multiple times a year, I think, with his friends.
Yeah.
And they do the Golden Mile challenge.
Yeah.
12 beers, 12 stops or something like that.
Good Lord.
Yeah. We did half that, right?
Yeah, we didn't do...
It was a beer. It was half. It was like 6 beers.
Yeah, I couldn't drink that much.
Yeah.
I couldn't drink 12.
It was fun. I want to do the full 12. I almost never drink beer anymore, like at volume. Like I'll have a beer, maybe 2.
Yeah.
Usually when you bring it over.
Yeah, I don't even drink that much either. And I work at a brewery.
I know. Go figure. So anyways, you got anything else, Joseph?
Nope.
Okay, so we'll come back next week. We'll do Gab and Chatter proper. Hopefully we'll have Tyler here. It will be our episode number 500. And it's going to be on Sunday. I'm going to be out of town for work. I'm traveling Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But I won't be back in town, like flying in late afternoon. So I won't be available till late that evening. And I'm definitely not going to have the energy to record that night. So we'll do it Sunday next week. We'll do our episode 500 and review Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 for 501.
Yeah.
Cool. So thank you to our cool ass yard duties over on Patreon. That's Javier, Heather, Michael, Steven, and Chris. If you want to support us on the Patreon, you can do so at patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass. Or you can just watch us on the YouTube. We're 11 subscribers from hitting 1,000, which means YouTube will pay us.
Yeah.
They're going to pay us instead of the other way around.
Yeah.
I lost track of how much money I owe YouTube at this point. Going in debt. The IRS and YouTube. We owe so much to them.
Yeah.
So
we're in the red.
Yeah. So anyway, so follow us there. Listen on the YouTube. Watch on the live stream if you want to participate, like Angry Otter, Jack in the chat, Bruce, Binge Lord Dan, and Big Red Dal. So thank you, Dallas, again for the Hollywood High Roller. That was a really cool thing. Next year, I think we should like plan something and do a fun thing like with the class.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do a live stream of the Oscars. I think the Film Vault's doing that this year, which I think is a pretty cool idea. But I just can't get myself hyped up to watch it live a lot of times. I don't know.
I already got my Sunday.
I know. I offered. I said, Joseph, come over. He's like, oh, fuck off. I have a real friend coming over.
Yeah.
Just kidding. So anyways, until next time. Thank you for joining us live. Sans Tyler this week. Hopefully we see him next week. And follow us as we review Paul Blart Mall Cop next week on episode 500 and 501. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast. And send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
And follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Middle Class Film Class, and on Twitter at Twitter podcast MCFC, whatever.
It's still there.
Yeah.
It's overrun by Nazis, but there's a few holdouts.
Yeah.
So anyways, we'll guys see you next week, and thank you again for following and watching. It means a lot. See you next week.
See ya.
Oh, he was mandible and ants?
Class dismissed.
I gotta get out of here.
The bell doesn't dismiss you. I dismiss you.
You're free to go.
See you next week.
See you later.
See you later.
That's a wrap.
Great show.